Excuse me, officer. What do you know about medieval ironmongery? Have a look at this little baby.
A tripod? What is it for?
You mean you don't know?
No, monsieur. Nor do you, I think.
Look at this gem. What do you think?
Cut glass.
No, it's not. It's for real.
What kind of madman would go around waving a priceless gem under people's noses?
So either it's glass or I'm mad? I didn't like to think about that for too long. What do you think of this?
A blood pressure sleeve.
Take a look at this.
Ah, an electrician.
Does this matchbook mean anything to you?
The pattern looks Middle Eastern.
Do you know what this is?
It's a sewer key.
Would you like to shake? I stopped myself barely in time. Electrocuting a cop would not have been smart. They'd rebuild the Bastille just so they could throw me in and throw away the key. What do you make of this grease paint stained tissue?
Delightful. Would you like to see some of my used tissues?
Hell no.
Then please put yours away.
Does this red nose mean anything to you?
Aha! A prosthetic nose. Very significant.
It is?
No, I am just having a little joke.
Have you seen this man before?
No. Who is it?
I believe him to be an international assassin.
Oh.
Is that all you can say? Oh.
I did wonder if I should say that I believe you to be an international paranoiac, but it didn't seem polite.
Do you know what this is?
Aha! You Americans with your notorious nose candy. I read Hollywood Wives. I know all about it.
If you tried to sniff this stuff, you'd wall up your nostrils. It's plaster of Paris.
It is. Thank heaven. For one awful moment, I thought I might actually have to arrest somebody. Alors, the paperwork. You have no idea.
What do you know about the Knights Templar?
Les Templiers. Only that they were excommunicated in 1312 and hanged in their dozens within this very square.
Boy, what they teach in the police academy these days.
No, monsieur. I read it on that board over there.
Shouldn't you be off directing traffic or something?
You have seen the Parisian traffic, no?
Yeah, so?
I could direct the traffic. The most dangerous, the east side of Rome. Or I can sit here and enjoy the sun, the architecture, and the Sauvignon. Which would you choose?
Yeah, but I'm not a policeman. What happened to duty?
An excellent question, monsieur.
I'll see you around.
Oui, monsieur. I'll be there.
I had no desire to talk to the crowd. Hey, you with the balls.
Oui,
I've got a medieval tripod.
and my Uncle Claude has hemorrhoids. So what?
Feast your eyes on this.
Incroyable. Is it real?
I think so.
Some people believe that great gems always have curses upon them.
Oh, that's garbage. Although, now that I think about it, both of the people who had this before me disappeared in mysterious circumstances. And the guy who was supposed to get this was shot and then murdered in his hospital bed. Do you want it?
No, thank you.
What do you think of this?
It is a medical device, oui?
Does this lab pass mean anything to you?
You work in a lab.
No, try again.
You steal lab passes?
No. Well, not as a habit. This was a special case. Does this matchbook mean anything to you?
You smoke?
No, I don't.
In that case, it means nothing to me.
It didn't seem right to fry somebody's palm when they make their living with their hands. Does this grease paint mean anything to you?
It looks like one of mine, or at least another jongleur.
Or a clown?
Mais naturellement, a clown!
Hardly a breakthrough. Have you seen this man before?
No.
Does this plaster interest you?
Well,
Forget it. Forget that I asked. Look, a red nose.
all you say, whoop-de-doo.
This gadget is a sewer key.
I do not want it, thank you.
Well, I'm not selling it. I just wanted your opinion.
It is hardly my area of expertise.
What do you know about the Knights Templar?
Le Templier? Ah, the last Grand Master, Jacques Dumoulin, was burnt on an island in the Seine in 1314.
Wow. You're pretty well educated for a juggler.
No, monsieur. I read it on that board over there.
How did you learn to be a juggler?
Juggler? What is this juggler?
It's you. You juggle, that makes you a juggler.
No, I am a jongleur.
A jongler? What's that?
Mon Dieu! A jongleur is an artist, a master of the contragravitic aeroballetic mysteries. In centuries past, the courts of the crowned of Europe had the jongleurs, witty, erudite men to whom the monarchs turned in their hours of need.
Wait a minute, wait a minute. Let me get this straight. Our enemies are at the borders. Plague ravages the land, and the peasants are revolting. Thank God we've got Chuckles the Jongler to throw his balls around. I don't think so. That juggling doesn't look so difficult.
Oh, it does not, does it not? Perhaps you feel you could do better, no?
I'll give it a try.
Be my guest.
I had no idea what I was doing. But this guy was obviously an idiot, so how difficult could it be? A lot more difficult than I thought. That's how difficult. Still, it was my big chance to be derided by complete strangers.
Not so easy after all, is it?
No, I guess not. I couldn't open it with my bare hands.
Hey, you! What do you think you are doing? Leave that cover alone. Now,
Sorry, no harm intended.
you stay away from that.
I didn't have time to sit around. A knight, there in the company of his fellows. Biblical references engraved into the tomb edge to guide his way to the next world. I guess. I didn't recognize the biblical story in it. I was a Sunday school dropout. A scroll was a symbol of scholarship. I knew that much. A scholarly knight. That rang a bell. A very Spanish bell. On the end of the staff was some kind of disc with a cross on it. Around the base of the disc was a hairline crack. A statue of a knight. The statue had any secrets. It was concealing them pretty well. A stone knight lay at the end of a row of 4. I wondered if this guy had died in combat. A stone knight lay in full stone armor, blank eyes looking at the ceiling. Carrying all that armor around must have been hard work. I could see that what had at first seemed to be a fine engraved chasing on the scroll was actually writing. Per disciplinum meum lux videbus. Sounds pretty familiar to me. Well, I could have just taken the end off the staff, but I wanted to be sure what I'd be getting out of vandalizing a church, other than deported. Excuse me, Father.
Shall to help you.
I've got a medieval tripod. How about this for a gem?
It is very beautiful, monsieur, and yet I feel that there is an air of suffering about it.
I thought about using the shake and shock on him, but I couldn't do that to a priest. What do you think of this?
A precious sleeve and valve? What should I think?
Never mind. Maybe not. That is not a good idea. I have here a sewer key.
Oui?
There's grease paint on this tissue.
Oui, you are correct.
I've got a red nose.
Oui, so you have.
Have you seen this man before?
No, I have never seen him before.
I was in Ireland recently and I brought back this plaster.
My sister brought back a shillelagh.
What do you know about the Knights Templar?
You have come to the right place, if that is your interest. Many of them were executed in the square outside. It was a disgrace to France.
Well, the Pope was right behind it, though.
Clement V was a man of mammon, not of God.
That's kind of forthright for a priest, isn't it?
You think so? It is hard to be sure what happened. It is so long ago.
How long have you worked here?
Hardly work, monsieur. This is a calling. I have been helping Father Flambert for nearly 6 months now.
I guess you don't know much about the history of this church, then.
Just a little.
You've got quite a shine on that candlestick.
Ah, oui. Anything less than best would be an insult to the Almighty.
I guess so. I never thought of it like that. Is the right-hand window original?
Oui, monsieur.
Do you speak Latin?
You ask this of a priest?
Tell me what meum lux videbus means.
Let me see. That would be, by my teachings, you will see the light. I think.
Yeah, that's what I thought too. Catch you later.
Au revoir, monsieur.
I didn't recognize the Bible. On the end of the staff was some kind of disc with a cross on it. I didn't... Hello again.
Hello again, monsieur.
Does this red nose mean anything to you?
Ah, you are a clown.
Do I look like a clown?
No, although you juggle like one. Now, if I'd known you were a clown, it would have been amusing and not a humiliation for you.
What do you mean?
Whoever heard of a plainclothes clown?
He had a point. So you're saying that if I juggle badly with a red nose, I'd be the king of comedy. But if I juggle badly without it...
You look like a pathetic loon. Oui, monsieur, you have it.
I'll see you around.
Oui, monsieur, I'll be there.
Hi again.
Oui? What is it this time?
I'd like to have another try at juggling, please.
You have gone on a crash course, perhaps?
No, I just had an insight into presentation.
Huh?
Allow me to demonstrate. The balls, please.
If you insist on completing your humiliation, monsieur.
Okay, now for my secret weapon. The juggler was speechless with rage. You could have mistaken him for a mime. And without a word, he collected his balls and left in a fury. Hey! You forgot one of your balls! Hey! But he didn't hear. Better still, deprived of his entertainment, the gendarme decided maybe he ought to do some policing for a change. In French, English, and German, it read, in 1312, Pope Clement V dissolved the knightly order of the Templars and excommunicated its members on charges of heresy. In the following 2 years, many of the knights were hanged on this site. Their Grand Master, Jacques de Molay, was burnt at the stake on an island in the Seine. Fixed to the wall was a sign in 3 languages. I had no desire to talk to the crowd. If I wanted to get these catacombs, I was going to have to get onto that path. If the near edge hadn't crumbled away, I could have jumped it easily. The wall had flaked, and anything once written on it had long since gone. The inscription was hard to read, but I made out Templier and something about innocence. The inscription was hard. My medieval French isn't much, but the few words I understood seemed to say, "This is where the gallows used to stand." Maybe. The hook lay in a bed of chain. I pushed against the door, but it seemed to be locked. If I wanted to get deep, if the near edge hadn't... The hook let...
I don't know what to put there.
It was the bright red ball I'd got from the juggler. It was a simple but elegant... The hook lay in a bed of chain. A weird little boat lay tied up. I guess they used it to get maintenance crews around. Either that or the Phantom of the Opera was somewhere near. On the boat was a winching machine. If I wanted to get... If the near edge hadn't crumbled away, I could have jumped it easily.
Why am I getting that goat sound?
I didn't have time to... Hello again, Father.
Bonjour, monsieur. How pleasant to speak to you again.
No. You must be proud to have such an incredible collection of stained glass.
Pride is a sin, monsieur, but it is hard not to marvel when the light shines through them. It is a fine example of the artisan's genius.
Catch you later.
Au revoir, monsieur.
I didn't recognize... Per discipline... A bit of a stained glass window. Wow! Hoping for a big insight while squinting through a hunk of statuary had been pretty optimistic, I guess. On the end of the staff was some kind of disc with a cross on it. Somehow it looked more modern than its neighbor. I didn't recognize the bib. A bit of a stained glass window. Wow! It well had been pretty. I didn't recognize. Per disciplinum meum lux videbus. A bit of a stained glass window. Wow! Hoping for a big insight while squinting through a hunk of statuary. Had been pretty optimistic, I guess.
I don't know what to do. Talk to this guy.
Hello again, Father.
Bonjour, monsieur. How pleasant to speak to you again.
I noticed that the stained glass window on the left looks more modern than the middle one.
You have a keen eye, monsieur. The original window was destroyed in the last war. It was as old as the church, early 14th century.
Oh, man, that's awful.
Oui, a terrible loss. Still, the church and the other windows survived.
Catch you later.
Au revoir, monsieur.
A stone. Somehow it looked. In comparison to its neighbor, it looked pretty plain. Somehow it looked more modern than its neighbor. A stone. A stone. A knight there in the company of his fellows. I didn't have time to. A row of old pews. I thought of all the people who must have sat here over the decades. All those Parisian derrieres, firm buttocks of the young ladies, the flabby flesh of the old men. That wasn't a pleasing image, so I went back to the young ladies. Whoa! I didn't recognize the. I didn't have. I had no desire to. Hi there, remember me?
Ah, Mary, Inspector. Have you found him?
Who?
The man in the sewer, of course.
I'm, sifting through the evidence.
Rather you than me, monsieur. So, when you are not...
I take a...
Oh,
I'd had it with sticking my nose in... I'd had... There was nothing of interest. It smelled like someone had dumped a truckload of fish in a locker room on a hot summer afternoon. I decided I'd had enough.
Nothing here. Go back to the museum.
Hi, Andre.
Hello, Georgie. Hey, I visited Nicole's apartment.
Yeah, she told me you came by.
Ooh, quite a fine Georgie boy. I didn't expect anything quite so sexy.
I hope you're referring to the manuscript.
Oui, of course.
What does this ball mean to you?
It's a juggling ball. I love juggling.
What do you make of this?
It's the biggest gemstone I've ever seen. Where did you get it?
From Professor Pegram's messenger boy.
Pegram? Professor Nigel Pegram? He's in Ireland, investigating a Templar site, isn't he?
He was, until he disappeared.
Did Pegram find this on his dig?
Yeah, the site where this was found was a Templar castle. Do you think it could be part of the Templar treasure?
No, I shouldn't think so. You're not one of those crazies who think the Templars still exist, are you?
Well, I try to keep an open mind on the matter. That is not a good idea. What do you make of this ID card?
Nothing.
Does this matchbook mean anything to you?
Alamut is the name of the place where the Hashashin were based.
Where is it?
Somewhere in what used to be called Persia. I'm not too hot on modern geography, I'm afraid. The most recent map I have shows America as an English colony.
What do you make of this tool?
Interesting. Where did you get it?
From a dig in Paris.
Vraiment? I didn't realize there were any excavations in progress in the city.
I'd like to shake you by the hand, Andre.
Not now, Georgie.
What does this tissue mean to you?
Nothing.
Take a look at this nose, Labino.
It really doesn't interest me, Georgie.
Does the guy in this photograph look familiar to you?
No.
Do you recognize this white powder, Andre?
No.
Do you know Pegram well?
Not really. I met him at a conference. I would have liked to talk to him in depth, but I didn't have time.
When was this?
Oh, back in the summer, July, I think.
What did you make of the manuscript?
It dates from the time of the Crusades.
We guessed that from the Templar seal.
It's a story and pictures like a modern-day comic book.
What story does the manuscript tell?
I don't know. It was probably produced for the tourist market.
Tourists?
Oh, we pilgrims in our thousands on our way to Jerusalem. The tourist trade is nothing new, you know. It's been around for centuries. Ever since Joshua made a packet selling souvenir bricks from the walls of Jericho.
Have you deciphered any of the images on the manuscript?
There's very little I can be sure about. The slang of the bull could be a reference to Mithras.
Who's he?
A Persian god, almost as popular as Christ at one time. The only thing I can be sure of is the knight. He's Spanish.
How can you tell that?
The writing on the shield, the reference to Ave Maria. No self-respecting knight from Northern Europe would have borne a coat of arms like that.
Can you identify the knight's coat of arms?
I already did, Georgie. He's a member of the De Vasconcelos family from the Costa Calida.
Were they famous?
No, they're not mentioned after the 15th century.
Oh.
The spotlight of history moved on. They are probably long dead.
Thanks for your help, Andre.
You're welcome.
Pardon me.
Oui, monsieur?
What does this ball mean to you?
Nothing, monsieur.
Do you recognize this tripod?
It is vaguely familiar.
I should think it is.
Very similar to the one which we used to have here at the museum. In fact,
That's what I thought.
but this is obviously a poor copy.
Right. I found this gem at a medieval site in Ireland.
That means nothing to me, monsieur.
How did you manage to get this job?
I had the right qualifications, a military manner, squeaky shoes, and an irrational hatred of children.
That is not a good idea. Do you recognize this ID pass?
No.
Have you ever heard of the Club Alamut?
Oh no, I don't frequent places like that.
What does this tool mean to you?
That belongs in a museum.
Pardon?
It is a priceless historical artifact, if I am not mistaken.
No, it's a plain old tool for lifting drain covers. Would you like to shake my hand?
Not while I'm on duty, monsieur.
What do you make of this tissue?
It is absolutely disgusting, monsieur.
Do you recognize this red nose?
I don't think so.
Do you recognize the man in this photograph?
No, monsieur. Is there any reason why I should?
I guess not. Does this white powder mean anything to you?
No, it doesn't.
Do you know anything about the Knights of the Temple?
No, sir. Not a sausage.
The sign on the tripod says it was found at a Templar preceptory.
It does?
Yeah. It doesn't mention John D. at all.
Most remiss.
You don't know anything about the tripod, do you?
No, I don't. I never had much of a start in life, you see. I owe what little education I gained to my uncle. He was an optician, but he also doubled as the village school teacher. He taught me the alphabet. The bottom.
Why don't you start up
You know, do you see?
at your age? Do you know anything about medieval manuscripts?
Not me, monsieur. I am no scholar. Though people often mistake me for one. It is the uniform I get.
And they ask you to...
They ask me to. They ask.
Whereas you...
Of course not. Not like.
Thanks for your help. The glass case was intact, but the tripod had been replaced by a sign reading, "Exhibit temporarily removed." The case was...
Watch out! You'll have that done on top of us!
This is ridiculous. I could be here for hours. Sergeant Moo,
Yes,
look what I found.
it is a ball.
You're half right, but this is no...
Don't tell me. The juggler is back.
The juggler? Who's he?
The most cunning circus performer turned pickpocket in Paris. He mesmerizes his audience with an unarguably talented but mind-numbing display of juggling, while his accomplice goes through the crowd and empties their pockets. I thought we'd seen the last of him.
Looking out there.
Maybe not. No way. Maybe not. No. Does this matchbook mean anything to you, Sergeant?
You already showed me, monsieur. It's a beauty.
Maybe not. Did I show you this photograph, Sergeant?
Yes, monsieur.
Are you sure you don't want this false nose?
Don't try my patience, monsieur.
Do you recognize this dirty tissue?
I told you, no, monsieur.
Would you like to shake my hand, Sergeant?
Not while I'm on duty, monsieur. The gesture could be misconstrued.
Did I show you my tool, Sergeant?
Yes, monsieur. Unfortunately, you did.
I'd like to report an assault.
Yes, monsieur. Where is the victim?
I'm
I...
outside. They stopped.
Could you do...
One looked like their name.
No.
See you later, Sergeant. It was just some police paper. It was a search warrant for someone named...
Hello, George.
Is there something going on between you and Labino?
What business is it of yours? We agreed all this. The clown, the Templars, strictly business, remember?
Yeah, but...
So get off my case.
Let's take another look at the manuscript. A night with a night through my teachings, you will be enlightened. There's a woman looking at her reflection in a mirror, but the reflection... There's a guy working... There's a guy with a sword and a bull. Between them is a gem supported by a tripod. Nothing happened.
Yeah.
The gem fits perfectly, but what does that prove?
Maybe the tripod has to be in a certain location.
There's nothing on the manuscript to indicate where, though, is there? Maybe not. Did I show you this matchbook?
Huh? Oh, yeah.
This is the tool I used to...
Yes, you showed me before.
Hey, Nico, shake hands with me.
No chance, Buster.
Maybe not. I showed you the red nose, didn't I?
Yes, you did.
Do you want this photograph back?
No, you keep it. I can always make another print.
No way. Let's take another look at the map.
Look at...
There's between a night through my... There's a woman, but just how long?
Andre? We met at college. He helped me out when I was a fresh air. Showed me around, that sort of thing.
You never told me that before. I thought he was just a working acquaintance.
So he is. I rarely see him these days. You know, he hasn't changed much. A little lesser at the front, perhaps. I'd forgotten how much fun he could be.
I'd better get back to the quest. Hi, is this the Vasconcelos house?
Who wants to know?
I could tell the old coot was going to be trouble. My name's George Stobart. I was wondering whether...
The house is not open to the public.
This is the Vasconcelos house.
And what business is that of yours, senor?
Look, all I want is to speak to the head of the household.
There is no household. Only the Countess and myself.
There's a funny story about how I got this ball.
I don't want to hear it.
What do you think of this tripod?
I think nothing of it.
See this gem? Men have died for it.
Do I look as if I care?
What do you make of this?
So that's it. You're a salesman.
If I was hawking medical supplies, I can think of better places to hawk them. This lab pass mean anything to you?
Nothing.
Do you recognize this matchbook?
I don't smoke.
Would you like to shake hands?
I do not think so, senor.
Do you know what this is?
See, I have a similar tool for opening culverts on the estate.
Look at this tissue.
It's a tissue with some greasy muck on it.
Yes, that's right. I don't suppose this red nose means anything to you, does it?
Ah! El Flojo!
El who?
El Flojo! He is a clown on state television.
Oh, is he any good?
He is as funny as scabies, without the laughs.
Do you recognize this man?
No.
Have you got any use for a fistful of plaster?
No.
What do you know about the Templars?
Who wants to know?
Are you angling for a bribe or something?
You have nothing that I want, senor, except the pleasure of your absence.
The guy was obviously protecting the Countess against the whole world. But why? Tell me about the Countess de Vasconcelos.
She doesn't receive guests. That's all you need to know.
You don't even know what I have to talk to her about.
She hasn't won the lottery, has she?
Yeah, that's it. The Countess has won the lottery, and I'm here to give her the check.
Marvelous. May I see it?
No. No, I have to deliver it to her in person.
The Countess doesn't do the lottery.
Oh, for crying out loud, why'd you lead me on then?
To amuse myself. To make you look a fool. To make you go away.
I'll be going for now.
Adios, senor.
I didn't like the idea of carrying 30 yards of hose around me, so I left it alone. The hose ran from some sort of utility room all the way to the lawn.
Hey, you.
Yeah? What is it?
You would not like it if people just wandered into your home, would you?
Well, no, I guess not.
Then show a little consideration.
Okay. Sorry. I'm no student of architecture, but the little building looked old. I wondered if it was some sort of summer house. I'm no student. I wondered... Hello again.
You again.
Yep, and it's a real bonus to see your smiling face, too. I'll be going.
Adios.
The main part of the house was old, but nowhere near as old as the gatehouse section. I didn't like the idea.
My horse has stopped.
Yeah?
See, my horse never stops.
Well, I'm sorry to hear it. It's always sad when an old tradition comes to an end.
Did you have anything to do with it?
Well, I'm shocked. I'm mortified. How could you think such a thing?
Very easily, senor. Very easily. I'm going to find out why my horse has stopped. And that means going into the house. You are not, absolutely not, to go in the house. If you do go in the house, I will set the dogs on you.
I'm no student of art. I wondered if it... The armor was about my size. I had a mental vision of putting it on and clanking off to see the Countess, with the gardener hanging hopelessly on the outside trying to stop me. Apart from being stupid and unworkable, it was a great plan. There was no way.
Hey, you.
Who, me?
Come here.
I know this doesn't look good, but
Look, senor. All I want is a quiet life. A life without mad, house-breaking foreigners in it. Understand?
Look, I just wanted to, use the bathroom.
Leave now, please.
Okay, I'm going.
Hey, you on the stairs.
Oops. I know this doesn't look good, but
Look, senor. A life with Anders.
look,
Leave.
okay, I'm... The armor was... I had a... with the... apart... There was no... The armor I had met with the apart.
Hey, you leave.
Okay,
Hey, you. I know you are there, American. All right, you dogs. I'm coming.
Madre Dios, who are you?
my name's George Stobart. I'm sorry to burst in like this.
You must leave at once. You're not wanted here.
Please, if you'd just listen a minute.
Very well. State your business, Senor Stobart.
There's been a series of murders, part of some conspiracy. Anyway, the trail led me here.
Here? There is nothing for the outside world here.
Over 600 years ago there was.
What do you mean?
This whole thing ties in somehow with the Knights Templar.
The Knights Templar are dust.
They had a secret that was so important, they went to a lot of trouble to hide it.
I do not see what this has to do with my family.
Your family had a strong connection with the Templars, right? I believe that they have planted some clues here.
Why should I believe a complete stranger who barges into my home?
Just let me have a look around. If I find nothing...
You'll be spending the night at the police station. Very well. Please, sit down.
No. I know your family's involved with the Templars, but I don't know how.
You should be asking how my family were involved, Senor Stobart. The Templars ceased to exist centuries ago. And as for De Vasconcelos, the line dies with me.
I'm sorry.
Don't be.
Okay, whatever happened almost 700 years ago. So, if the Templars left any clues, they're going to be in stuff that dates back to the early 14th century.
Obviously.
So, what do you have around here that's early medieval?
Early medieval. Let me think. Well, the house is relatively modern, a scant 3 centuries old. Or, of course, the chess set.
That chess set is over 600 years old? It must be worth a fortune.
Indeed it is. Not that I would part with it, of course.
No, I wouldn't either. That's the sort of thing that gets handed down to your children. Sorry.
Its value is less than you might think. The set is not complete. One of the pieces is a modern replacement. As to the original, it was lost a long time ago.
Nobody has any idea where it is?
No. The children had it when they were taken.
Children? What children?
All in good time, Senor Stobart.
May I examine the chess set?
Certainly. But do not move any of the pieces.
Okay, thanks. Close up, the modern piece stood out like a sore thumb. There was something else odd about the set. All of the original pieces had irregular bases.
My lady, I have to warn you, there's a... You! Why, I'll feed you to the dogs.
Lopez, what have I told you about feeding intruders to the dogs?
But, my lady...
Never without my permission. Senor Stobart, If I find that you're wasting my time, you will be fed to the dogs. Now, I want to show you something interesting. Follow me. Lopez, unlock the door, por favor. This is the only remaining structure on the estate contemporary with the Templars.
Nice. What is it, a summer house?
A mausoleum, Senor Stobart.
Oh.
Come with me.
Hey, senor.
Yeah?
I do not know what you have told my lady to be shown these favors, but I do not trust you.
You've got nothing to worry about. Aren't you coming in?
No, the dead do not interest me. My garden is a living thing. I will be there.
Wow, this is old.
It was constructed in the 13th century as the final resting place for the De Vasconcelos Templars.
It's well maintained.
These are my ancestors, and they deserve respect. I come here at least once a week to say a prayer for them.
Mind if I have a look around?
By all means.
May I ask you something?
You may ask.
You certainly know your history.
What's your opinion of the Templars, Senor Stobart?
The Templars? Well, they seem no worse than a lot of the knightly orders.
You are mistaken. Compared to the simpering politicians of the Hospitallers or the brutish Teutonics, the Knights Templar were the embodiment of chivalry. The filthy, money-grabbing French king and his pet pope did a great wrong. A bane settled upon my family at the whim of that self-seeking tyrant.
It was all a long time ago.
Some things don't die. Injustice is one of them.
Would you like to shake hands?
A formal bow will suffice.
I got this ball off a juggler in Paris. I couldn't juggle, see? And he thought he was so superior. But, and this is the funny part, I put a red nose on and made out that I was trying to be incompetent. It brought the house down. He was so angry because I'd upstaged... Yeah, well, you had to be there.
I fear that you're probably right, Senor Stobart.
No way. No. Does this red nose mean anything to you?
No, dear. El Flojo, clown in all important aspects. Apart from the one about being funny.
Do you recognize this man?
No, I have never seen him before in my life. Who is he?
I've got a couple of names for him, but they're probably false. He's the killer.
No, his face is utterly unfamiliar.
Does this matchbook mean anything to you?
Club Alamut. Not an establishment that I am familiar with, a young man.
Does this tissue mean anything to you?
Where is this line of questioning going?
Nowhere helpful. Does this lab pass mean anything to you?
Nothing at all.
Do you know what this is?
No, it looks very practical, though.
Okay, thanks.
Not at all.
Now what? There was nothing to snuff. Feeling like an idiot, I put it down again. A big statuette of the Virgin Mary kept an eye on the place. On removing the Bible, I found a pattern on the lectern top. Hey! It's a checkerboard! Close up, I could see that the pattern was made up of glass squares over a checkerboard pattern. Close up, over a... It was too delicate to move. Now what? Feeling like an... The mausoleum contained 5 tombs for 5 of the Knights Templar, man-size in marble. Hanging from the ceiling was a huge yellowed candle. It looked really old and had never been lit. Now what? Feeling like... I couldn't climb up there without breaking something. Close up, over a... May I ask you something?
You may.
What's the story with the glass chessboard?
Glass chessboard. Oh, the pattern on the lectern. Purely decorative, I'm sure.
There are pieces of glass missing from it.
Oh, it has been like that since I was a girl.
The gaps in the glass chessboard look awfully deliberate.
No, it is ridiculous. What possible significance can it have?
It's part of a chessboard, and the gaps are for...
Senor Stobart. You cannot mean...
This place was built for the Templars. Your chess set is as old as the Templars. It's kind of suggestive, isn't it? Is the Virgin Mary really the right person to be sharing a mausoleum with 5 knights?
You are showing your ignorance, Senor Stobart. The Templars were dedicated to the Virgin Mary.
Who exactly are these people?
My ancestors. These 5 men were all members of the Templars.
5 ancestors in the order. You must be very proud.
Not 5, 6.
Where's the 6th knight?
He was lost to us.
You lost an ancestor?
It is a family matter. It can have no relevance.
Well, it's connected with the curse of the Vasconcelos, isn't it?
Yes, it is. I hope you will honor my desire not to talk about it.
Okay, well, I'll leave it for now. I think this must be it. This is what the manuscript is pointing to.
This is extraordinary. Am I to understand that the Templars left a puzzle here? And in all of this time we failed to realize that there was a puzzle?
It was wonderful to watch the Countess change before my eyes.
Right! Well, no time for wallowing in self-pity, eh, Senor Stobart? This mystery has had a good long run, but it ends here and now.
All those years of fatalism were falling away from her.
Lopez! Lopez! Put that hose down and listen! Go to the house and get my chess set. Yes, the old chess set! Now hurry! My, this is exciting, is it not?
Don't get too excited. This could be a blind alley.
Oh, I do not believe that for a moment.
It's good to see you happy.
Happy? You know, I think I am.
While we're waiting, I'd really like to know what happened here. I mean, the curse and everything.
It all began at the time of the dissolution of the Templars. Don Carlos had already left their ranks to become a scholar.
Don Carlos, is he the guy who went missing?
Si, but he had reckoned without the local bishop. The bishop envied us our land and determined to use the papal edict as an excuse to destroy us. Don Carlos was on one of his scholarly journeys when the Inquisition arrived. When Don Carlos returned, it was to find his loyal manservant slain and his children gone.
They took the kids? But why?
Oh, we will never know. The bishop denied all knowledge of the children's disappearance. But witnesses had seen his men kill the servant who had been charged to protect them.
What happened to Don Carlos?
He swore he'd find his children if he had to go to the edge of the world. He put on his armor and took up his sword and shield and rode out alone. He was never seen again. Ah, Lopez, you have the pieces.
See, my lady, as you asked.
Por favor, Senor Stobart, would you be so kind?
My lady.
Calm yourself, Lopez. I believe Senor Stobart's motives are pure.
Very well, my lady. My lady seems to trust you.
But you don't.
No, senor.
It fits, Senor Stobart. It fits.
Working quickly, I found which pieces went into which holes. Place, the square bases fit onto the white pieces. I just had to figure out where to place them.
Senor Stobart, look!
What is that? It's not the Holy Grail, is it?
No, Senor Stobart. It is the communion chalice of the De Vasconcelos, missing for almost 700 years.
Wow. Well, go on.
I cannot. I can hardly believe it is real.
Go ahead. Live a little.
Are you sure? This is your moment of triumph, Senor Stobart.
Sure, I'm sure. The possibility of death traps only occurred to me a few days later.
So the curse of the De Vasconcelos is lifted?
Oh no, the Countess was thrilled to find the lost chalice. But there's still the riddle of the missing knight.
Well, you can forget about that now and get back to finding the Templar's secret.
Actually, I promised the Countess I'd find Don Carlos.
You what?
I can explain everything.
You have got the odds for a withered old Spanish aristocrat?
The Countess entrusted me with the chalice and the quest for her ancestor's tomb.
You're as crazy as she is. Haven't you got enough problems? Khan and the Templars?
It's all part of the same thing. The chalice is important, I'm sure. The manuscript pointed us to the knight, and I have to find him.
What then?
I don't know. But when the knight and the chalice are reunited, maybe I will. This is the chalice I discovered in Spain.
I still can't figure out why the Countess gave it to you. After losing it for all those years, she simply gave it away to a total stranger? She's one prawn short of a paella.
The Countess is a fine lady. You shouldn't compare her with seafood.
I wouldn't be surprised if there's something going on between you and that Countess.
Are you serious? She's old enough to be my grandmother. Let's take another look at the manuscript. There's a woman looking at her reflection in a mirror, but the reflection has 3 hideous faces. A knight through. There's a guy working.
Look.
I better get back.
Okay, we're back.
Hi, Andre.
Hello, Georgie.
What do you make of this cup, Andre?
It's a 14th century communion vessel. Spanish, probably.
Thanks for your help, Andre.
You're welcome.
Pardon me.
Oui, monsieur?
That... Do you know anything about...
No, sir.
Besides... Yeah.
Most...
You don't...
No, it was...
Why don't you...
You know... Do you?
And you're... Do you know any...
Not... It is the...
And they ask you to park the...
They ask...
Where at?
Of course. Not...
Thanks.
Okay, museum was mostly a waste of time because
I had no desire... I didn't have time... Hello again, Father.
Bonjour, monsieur. How pleasant to speak to you again.
What do you make of this chalice?
It certainly looks very old.
About as old as this church, I think.
There seems to be an engraving on it.
Yeah? What does it say?
I do not know, it is very tarnished. With your permission, I could try polishing it. I promise I will be very careful.
That'd be very good of you.
This shouldn't take very long. Feel free to look around.
Okay, thanks. On the end of this... Around the... Well, I could have... But I wanted to be other than... A scroll. A scholarly knight. Per discipline. A bit of a stained glass window. Wow! Hoping for a big insight while squinting through a hunk of statuary had been pretty optimistic, I guess. The priest was still busy with the chalice. A stone... I want... A stone... I didn't recognize the bib... On the end of the... A knight. Bib... Mike. On the end of the... The priest was still busy with... I didn't have time.
yeah.
The wall, the inscription... My medieval friend, maybe. I pushed again. If the near end. I had no desire. The priest was still busy. I didn't have time to. A night. A stone knight lay in. A stone. A stone. Heard this. A bit of a stained glass window. Wow. Hoping for a big insight while squinting through a hunk of statuary had been pretty optimistic, I guess. On the end of the staff was some kind of disc with a cross on it. On the end of the staff. On the end of her discipline, a bit of. Maybe not. Maybe not. A stone knight. Somehow it looked more. Somehow, in comparison to. I didn't recognize the biblical. On the end, the priest was still. A knight. A stone knight. I didn't. wall had flaked. The wall... The inscription was hard to read, but I made out... My medieval French isn't much. Maybe. The hook lay in a bed of chain.
Something in the church. Cathedral, probably.
If I wanted to get deeper into these catacombs, I was going to have to... If the near edge had... A roll of old... I thought of all the... that... What? A night.
Oh my god, it's taking forever. I'm gonna look this up because it's not just like leaving this place and try that. If you'll switch it while I'm gone.
I didn't have time. priest was still busy.
Oh my god, it's still busy. Something to do with this statue.
On the end of the staff, around the base of the disc, was a... Well, I could have just taken the... But I wanted to be other than... On the end of the staff was some kind of disc with a cross...
Alright, time to look it up. Give chalice. Focus. Chalice. I already looked at that one.
A knight, there in the biblical references engraved into the tomb edge to guide his way to the next world. I guess. A knight. Somehow, the priest was...
Wow, you really do. Doesn't really make sense at all. I did this in the wrong order. I should have come here first, then go to the
Hi, Andre. Hello, Georgie. Thanks for your help, Andre.
You're welcome.
The hook... The hook... The hook...
try.
The hook.
Take
The hook. The hook lay.
Seems like game actually might be broken here because all I have is eyeball symbol. Yeah, it makes sense to attach this hook to the door, but there's nothing you can grab. Plus it's like
I pushed against the.
okay. Yeah, I missed it. So this is
The wall seemed. The inscription was undecipherable. I wondered. It was time for some brutal destruction. Hey, that's hollow! I'd poked a hole in an historical site. If any archaeologists came by, they'd lynch me for this. There was some sort of mechanism hidden inside the wall, with a lever in the middle of it. Here goes. The secret door had jammed. I couldn't get through that gap. I'd pulled the lever right. Boy, had I ever made a mess of that door.
In the beginning was the end. An end wrought by our enemies began our darkness. In the end will be a beginning. An end to our enemies heralds our new day. Report.
The military establishments are in flux. The end of the Cold War has left them with no clear goal and as obvious targets for budgetary cuts. We have successfully promoted a sense of betrayal in the upper echelons. They feel that the politicians have cast them adrift. The pattern is emerging. Our time is now.
Good. Mademoiselle?
Governments are giving the corporations more respect than their own citizens. A groundswell of dissatisfaction and dissidence is growing. The corporations are becoming too large and complex for their own executives to control them. A blind belief in market forces is accelerating this trend the world over. The pattern is emerging. Our time is now.
The global population's belief in those that govern it has never been lower. We have inculcated a sense of immediacy and action over forethought and planning in all the major governments. They are acting on hasty decisions that cannot be completed or revoked without appearing foolish. The pattern is emerging. Our time is now.
Excellent. The tired old governments are dying a slow death from their own incompetence and our machinations. Professor, Where is the broken sword?
As we discussed last time, with the loss of the manuscript, our search is as a corollary hindered.
And as discussed last time, you have been furnished with a dramatically increased budget. What have you been doing with our money, Professor?
We are working on the principle that the Templars, that is to say, our predecessors,
Hold on. These are the Templars?
must have left a trail when they were hiding the clues to the sword of Baphomet's location. I have a small army of historians and archaeologists ferreting out that trail.
I trust these historians and archaeologists are more trustworthy than your friend Pegram.
Pegram was loyal. He tried to protect the Lakmarn gem when the Hashashin came near.
And failed. And don't call that Syrian maniac the Hashashin. He's an assassin. Plain and simple.
That's not what he believes. He actually thinks.
Silence! Do I have to remind you that we have a sacred duty? A trust? When Philippe attempted to destroy the Order, we lost the sword and our power with it. Now we have the opportunity to reforge it. But time is short. We need results. Not petty bickering. Not excuses. Now, Professor Baphomet.
Yes, of course. My apologies. We will find Baphomet and the sword, manuscript or no. We have already found another element actually within Paris.
Excellent. What is it?
Well, we're not exactly sure at present.
Ha!
But I have my best people working on it. You would do well not to criticize others, Eklund. At least I have not murdered one of our own.
Of course. That guy was the bogus doctor in the hospital.
Marquet was a liability. Eklund dealt with him on my orders.
I beg your pardon, Grandmaster. I did not mean to.
Have you any good news for us, Professor?
We already know 3 of the elements. We know that Klausner had obtained the lens before he vanished.
Where was he?
Syria. We know that he arrived, but after that, nothing.
The assassin.
I fear so. It's a shame. Klausner was a good operative.
This will be our last meeting in person until we locate the sword of Baphomet. I hope that I don't need to emphasize the importance of finding it. Without it, our endeavors come to nothing. With the sword reforged, we will have the power to sweep the stage of all opposition. The next time that we meet, it will be to become the princess of this world!
Wow. Boat. That's funny. Okay, I'll be right back.
In the middle of the circle was a stump of stone, a shaft of daylight from the world above lancing down to touch it. There was a large circle marked out on the floor with a stump in the middle. Around the circle I could see words inlaid into the stone. On the circle's circumference were the Templar seal and 2 Latin phrases, Non omnis moriar and Clarior e tenebris. I shall not die completely, the brighter from the darkness. In the middle of the circle, a shaft. The tripod's feet fitted neatly into the notches on the top of the stump. The light, falling from above, struck the gem and scattered in 5 neat rays, and each ray picked out a letter. Starting from the left, I could read M-A-R-I-B, Marib. Now all I had to do was figure out what the heck that meant. Nico, I've seen them.
Who?
The Templars. I spied on their meeting in the catacombs.
And you saw the Knights Templar?
I saw a bunch of guys masquerading as Templars. They're after something called the Sword of Baphomet. The bogus doctor was there, the guy who killed Marquet. The manuscript is the key, just as we thought. It shows the way to the broken sword, whatever that is.
And how does the assassin fit into all this?
He's out to stop them. These Neo-Templars, they're men and women in influential positions. Don't you see? Plantar was one of them. The assassin killed him for the manuscript, to stop them finding the sword.
But now we have got the manuscript.
Yes.
So, how do they hope to find the sword?
I don't know. They said something about a lens and a guy called Klausner who's gone to Syria, but they didn't seem to realize the significance of the very site of their meeting. You see, after they'd gone, I discovered a stone pedestal and a carved inscription. I set up the gem on the tripod, directly below a beam of light. The gem split the beam and lit the letters M-A-R-I-B.
Marib is a village in Syria. You're not thinking of going there yourself, are you?
Why not?
These guys are crazy and dangerous. That reminds me, you should leave the gem here.
Okay, what about the tripod?
I'll send it back to Andre, anonymously.
Let's take another... There's a guy with it between them. There's a guy There's a woman, but a night through my...
Look.
Do you think I should go to Marie?
Syria is a long way, Georges.
Hi, Andre. Hello, Georgie. Thanks for your help, Andre.
You're welcome.
You're back.
Me! I have returned.
Maybe not. Well, I wasn't expecting to see you back here again.
No? Well, it is a strange thing, but I am here on duty.
On duty? But you're just sitting there drinking wine.
No, I am not just drinking wine. I am undercover.
I must be missing something. You're in uniform.
Precisely, monsieur. My cover is that of an indolent, wine-guzzling police officer.
You've got me convinced.
Merci. But in reality, my every muscle is poised, every nerve honed. I am drawn tight, ready to pounce. Bang!
Who or what were you planning to pizzang on?
You must have heard, monsieur, of the terror that is gripping Paris.
You mean the killings? Oh, at last, someone's taken action.
People die every day. No, I am on the trail of Sewer Jacques.
Who?
Sewer Jacques, the terror of the subterranean city. He pops up here, he pops up there. The cops, they seek him everywhere. Is he so hush or beneath the neck? That damned elusive Sewer Jacques.
Bravo, that's very good.
Merci. I was up half the night writing that.
Who is this Sewer Jacques character anyway?
Ah, if we but knew that, we could have him in custody in an hour. But he is cunning to despoil the sewers of our fair city. He has committed many deceptions. He has pretended to be a police officer and deluded a poor war veteran.
Uh-oh.
He has pretended to be a jongleur.
Wow, is that the time?
And an American tourist. What nationality are you, monsieur?
Canadian. Well, gotta go now. See ya. Well, it's not everyone who can say they started an urban myth. The priest was still... Hi, I was wondering whether you could help me.
Why, sure, son. Always got time for a fellow American. The name's Henderson. Dwayne Henderson.
Pleased to meet you, Mr. Henderson.
Hell, boy. I'm not in the office. Call me Dwayne.
Oh, okay. Dwayne. My name's George Stobart. Look, I've got some plaster of Paris.
Yeah? And I've got a picture of me shaking hands with George Bush. Of course, that was back in '76.
Have you seen this man before?
Maybe. Where'd you get it?
I just picked it up somewhere.
Sure. I'm always picking up photos of complete strangers and then asking around.
Ow! Damn it!
There. I've got another picture of a complete stranger. Maybe I'll ask around about this one.
What do you think of this grease paint stained tissue?
You've been hanging around with actors?
Shake hands, Dwayne.
Why?
I'm just being friendly.
Let's just be friendly by keeping our hands to ourselves. Yeah?
What do you make of this?
A manhole lifting key. So?
Hey, how come you recognize it?
Hey, how come you're carrying it?
Yeah, well, let's just drop the subject, shall we? Does this matchbook mean anything to you?
Nothing. Nothing at all.
Do you know the name Merlin?
Nope.
What do you think of this?
It's a ball. Big deal.
I saw a medieval picture of a woman, royalty or nobility, something like that. She was looking in a mirror, but the reflection was of a man with 3 faces. What do you think of that?
I think you should be in therapy.
Do you mind if I ask you an odd question?
Okay, but I might not answer it.
Do you know anything about the Templars?
The Knights Templar?
Yep.
Nope. Nothing at all.
Well, you knew they were an order of knights.
What I know and what I say are 2 different things, boy. I haven't lasted as long as I have in this business without knowing that.
In this business?
Sure. The greetings card business.
Oh, please. Does the image of a knight holding a crystal ball mean anything to you?
Hell no. What would a knight want with a hunk of glass?
I don't know. That's the problem.
What's wrong, boy?
It's not a crystal ball. It all came together in my head. What the conspirators had mentioned losing. The strange perspective of the manuscript. It's a lens. Do you think bulls have any significance around here?
Weird question, George. Nope, I don't think they have.
You're a long way from home, Dwayne.
Could say the same about you, George.
Me? Well, I'm just sightseeing, that's all.
Without a camera? Kinda lags to come all this way and not take pictures. Mind if I take a picture of you, George?
What? Why? Ow! You could have warned me.
You don't mind, do you, George? The folks back home will be real interested.
Where is your wife, Dwayne?
Earl? Oh, she's around, looking for bargains.
How long have you been married, Dwayne?
Hell, must be 30 years now.
What exactly do you do, Dwayne?
Didn't I say? Oh, I run a greeting card company. Yep, we're based in Cleveland, Ohio. Pearl writes the poems for him. You ought to ask her to recite some.
Okay, well, I'll see you around, Dwayne.
Count on it, George.
As I didn't see the point of going all the way over there to get scratched, I stayed where I was. I hadn't come all this way to seek out curios. Hey there, young fella. Speaky you the English? Speaker you the Anglais? Parlez-vous anglais?
Yes, si, and indeed oui, and rather better than you by the sound of it. My name is Nijo. Welcome to my grand emporium of quality merchandise.
This plaster was very useful in Ireland.
Really? Your fund of travelers' tales never ceases to enthrall me.
Have you seen this man before?
No, sir. I'm glad to say. Cold eyes.
What do you make of this?
A man-sized double-ply tissue stained with Bestheimer's number 12 white pancake grease paint. Apparently.
Here, shake hands, Nijo.
I'd rather not, sir.
Look at this. A lifting key as used by Parisian sewer workers.
Calais, sir. I must remember this day for posterity. My grandchildren will be fascinated.
What do you make of this?
Well, beyond the obvious, very little. That pattern seems very familiar, though.
Do you know the name Merlin?
I'm afraid not, old bean.
What do you think of this, eh?
Oh, sir, what a splendid plaything. One day, when I am rich, I am going to build a world-renowned collection of brightly colored balls.
Are you serious?
In deadly earnest. People will come from far and wide to see my
Yes?
collection. The Rockefellers and the Gettys can keep their hoards of so-called fine art. But answer me this. What good is a Picasso, I ask you, if you cannot bounce it off a wall?
You may have a point. Seriously, do you really think this thing's so great?
Take it away, you tempter.
I'll swap it for something off your stand.
Due to seasonal financial considerations, I'm afraid I cannot.
I thought you wanted this thing.
I do, sir. The stand doesn't.
Which in translation meant it's not really my stand, and I'll be in big trouble if I swap anything for something that I want myself.
Alternatively, is there any service that you require?
Not at the moment, but I'll bear it in mind. So, this is your stand?
Oh, yes, sir. Though stands does not begin to do it justice. The finest in this bustling metropolis.
This is a bustling metropolis?
Well, not per se, no.
How much are those books there on the shelf?
Have you any Syrian pounds?
I think I might have a couple of Irish puds.
Then they're too expensive for you, sir.
You speak very good English.
Thank you, sir. I learned from tapes that my uncle procured.
Oh, a language course.
No, sir. Jeeves and Wooster. Gussie, Fink, Noto, Aunt Agatha. What ho?
That's not a very friendly cat you got there, Nijo.
No, sir. It is a very unfriendly cat.
Why do you keep it?
Oh, it's not mine. It just rests where it pleases. And today it pleases to rest there. As Kipling would say, it is a cat that walks by itself.
Fiercely independent.
And it smells.
Is that your father lurking in the back of the stand?
He is indeed a roaring fellow. Ayub's his name.
You don't sound like you respect him very much.
Don't I? Not only do I respect him, I rather like him. For all his bluster, we get on very well.
What do you know about that couple?
Oh, they're American.
Is that all?
The chap's a little odd. As for the lady, it's a funny thing. But I get the impression she's a lot cleverer than she's letting on.
Does the word Templar mean anything to you?
Templar. Ah, Templar. Templar! Why, yes, of course.
It does?
Yes. A splendid series of books by Mr. Leslie Charteris, featuring the roguish Mr. Simon Templar.
Great. That's a real help, Nijo. Anything else?
The Saint television program, featuring Mr. Roger Moore of the quizzical eyebrow, and a stick man with a halo. Bing!
So all Templar means to you is Roger Moore.
I only watched it for the stick man with the halo. Bing! He was better animated.
So I'm correct in saying that the word Templar doesn't mean much to you.
Well, there was the Order of Knights who were wiped out in an Inquisition in 1312, I suppose.
That's them. What else do you know?
Just how much information do you think there is on a Trivial Pursuit card?
A what?
From the medieval edition. We had it on the stand a couple of years ago. Ask me what a feuter is. Go on, I know all this stuff.
Never mind. Okay, forget about the Templars for a minute. What do you know about knights?
Like the Crusaders, they came to the East on an insane and pointless mission. They sacrificed thousands of lives, including their own, for insensate pride. How anyone can find them romantic confounds me.
So long, Nijo.
Toodle pip, sir.